talk about the operation and maintenance of a Pico SafeLock Closure. You will want to follow all of the owner's safety, operating, and waste disposal policies and procedures during the operation and maintenance of a Pico SafeLock Closure. Let's start with the pre-opening inspection of the closure. Visually inspect for any damage or loose hardware. You will want to take special care to ensure that all 4 of the hinge pin nuts and all 8 of the adjustment screws and the center bolt are tight. If any damaged hardware is found, contact Pico or your Pico representative for replacement parts and installation procedures. Do not attempt to operate or utilize the closure if damaged parts are present. Next, we will want to visually inspect for debris that may have collected on the guide rods and all sliding surfaces. If any debris is observed, clean and relubricate per the Pico closure operating instructions provided with your vessel or closure. A list of the closure hardware and operating procedures may be found in the installation and operating instructions provided with the vessel or closure. If you do not have a copy of the installation and operating instructions, contact Pico or your Pico representative for a replacement. Once the pre-inspection is complete, you want to relieve all pressure from the vessel or pipeline using the owner's depressurizing procedure. Once all pressure has been relieved, remove the closure handle from its storage location and attach it to the center hub tab. Remove the pressure lock assembly, or PLA, by unscrewing it in a counterclockwise direction. Once the PLA is removed, you want to ensure that the PLA hole is clear of debris. This can be accomplished by inserting a 1/8 inch diameter rod through the hole. Once you have confirmed that the PLA hole is clear, check for remaining pressure through audible, visual, smell, and feel senses. Note, if any pressure is still present, do not attempt to open the closure. Replace the PLA and depressurize the unit again. If no pressure is detected, you may rotate the closure handle up or down depending on your personal preference and leverage position. Once all 8 C-ring segments have been retracted and they are clear of the sub, pull the closure door straight out. Once clear of the sub, the door can be rotated out of the way. Now we will talk about maintenance. The Pico SafeLock Closure needs to be kept clean and lubricated for all operations. Thoroughly clean any and all debris that might have collected by your specific process conditions. Special areas of interest are all of the unpainted portions of the sub, head, C-rings, and the guide rods. If mild surface rust is present, lightly polish these areas with a fine emery cloth. You also want to ensure that the drainage hole has been cleared of any and all debris. On a horizontal closure, one hole located at the 6 o'clock position can be found. On a vertical closure, you will find approximately 4 holes 90 degrees apart. You will want to inspect the entire sealing surface portions of the closures for nicks and scratches. Pay special attention to the gasket groove. If any damaged areas are found, lightly polish these areas with a fine emery cloth. If damaged areas cannot be polished out, you will need to contact Pico directly for a resolution. Relubricate all unpainted portions of the sub, head, and C-rings per the closure operating instructions provided with your vessel or closure. Take special care not to over-lubricate around the gasket portions of the sub and head. This product line has a tolerance of 150 thousandths of an inch. in these areas. The application of too much lubricant may not allow the head to seat properly in the sub, thus resulting in an unsatisfactory performance of the closure. You will also want to lubricate all 16 guide rods. Next, you'll want to rotate the closure handle up and down several times to ensure that the mechanical portions of the closure are functioning properly. Next, we will want to install the gasket. First, inspect the gasket for any nicks or damages that may have occurred during shipment. The gasket must fit snug into the gasket groove. If you feel that the gasket you have been provided is too loose or is damaged, contact PICO or your PICO representative for a replacement. You will also want to inspect the gasket and gasket groove located on the PLA for any damage. Note, PICO recommends replacing both gaskets each and every time the closure has been in service and is opened for vessel or pipeline maintenance. Under no circumstances should you attempt to repair or manufacture your own gaskets. PICO takes special care in purchasing gasket material that has been manufactured and tested to specific practices and tolerances. Now we are ready to close the closure. Start by rotating the head to a position where it is parallel with the sub. The closure handle must be rotated all the way up or down depending on your personal preference and leverage position. Push the head straight into the sub, taking special care not to allow contact between the two. Notice that the opposite end of the handle has been manufactured to be adaptable with a cheater bar. A cheater bar can be used and is most likely needed on larger closures. Once the head is firmly seated into the sub, make a visual inspection of the gap between the head and the sub. This gap can be observed by looking between the C-ring segments. If the gap is equal and uniform, rotate the closure handle back to its closed position. During the rotation of the closure handle, visually inspect the C-rings to ensure that they are all engaging the sub-annuals correctly. You will also want to visually inspect the mechanical hardware to ensure that all items are functioning properly. If any of the mechanical hardware is damaged, do not attempt to pressurize the vessel or pipeline. Contact PICO directly for a resolution. If the gap is not uniform, adjust the closure door utilizing the 8 adjustment screws located on the upper and lower sub-mount assemblies. You will want to make all adjustments to the closure with the closure loose inside the sub and all 8 C-rings fully retracted. Adjustment instructions can be found in the installation and operating instructions provided with the vessel or closure. Once the closure is closed and all 8 C-rings are fully engaged, install the PLA and replace the closure handle in its storage location. Pressurize the vessel or pipeline and check for leaks. If you should have any questions on the operation and maintenance of the PICO SafeLock Closure or any other PICO products, please feel free to contact PICO or your PICO representative for a resolution. As always, PICO appreciates your business.